So thank you, Renee, for joining me and being our tutor of the month or highlight tutor. We just want to kind of get to know you better. So can you tell us about how you came to be in education, your story basically?
Oh, my story? Sure. Yeah, so I think, my my desire to be in education came at an early age. I always felt like as a small girl I was called to do this work. So I just kind of prepared, and once you voice your dream, a lot of times your family helps you achieve that. So my parents were always pushing me toward the things that would make me an educator someday. So, I was a typical little girl. I played with school supplies. That's what I wanted for Christmas instead of baby dolls. So once I, got to that point where it was time to exit high school and go to college, that was when I really thought, okay, this dream is really going to come true.
And you went to Germany for a while too, right?
Yeah, I did. So my father is now retired from the Army, and I left the United States when I was 5 years old and did not return to live permanently until I was 17. So I grew up there. I was at one time bilingual, but I loved the culture there. I went to Department of Defense schools, what they call them Dodeo schools now. But my schooling then was with all the military kids, missionary kids, GS job kids, those types of children, diplomat kids. All of us went to school together. So it was a very unique, experience that I had in my schooling.
Yeah. So you came back from Germany, and then what happened after?
So after we came back from Germany, my dad ended up being stationed at Fort Knox, Kentucky, and the only college that was offering deaf education close to us was Eastern Kentucky University. So that's where I did my undergraduate. So I did my Bachelor's of Science degree in deaf education and my Bachelor of Arts degree in elementary education. And then I stayed there and taught for a year before moving to Florida. And then that's really the bulk of my career has been here, but I did start in another state.
And were you at a high school, or were you at a elementary school when you moved?
So when I first moved to Florida, I ended up teaching another year in deaf education at the Florida School for the Deaf and Blind in St. Augustine. So I was a commuter. I would commute there back and forth daily. And that was a really unique experience because I was a 6th, 7th, and 8th grade teacher. That's where I also got introduced to helping those that were deaf and blind. So at that point in my career, I had only worked with deaf education students. And then I thought, oh, there's a whole nother skill set, ministry, whatever you want to call it, with signing on someone's hands that was blind. So that was my first experience with that. And then I didn't stay in that field because my salary was grant funded. So once the grant money ran out, I ended up coming back to Duval County and working elementary for about 11 years before exiting that into leadership roles.
Do you have any advice for a teacher or a tutor that's trying to progress in their educational field as far as sign language or teaching deaf and blind?
I would say, for me personally, I took every opportunity that was offered. Even if I felt like it was an opportunity that was a repeat of content that I had already learned, I went to socialize with the people who the language belonged to. So I never turned down an opportunity either to go learn more sign language from somebody else, whether it was medical sign language in the legal department, or educational interpreting, deaf-blind interpreting, or any of those things. And I wanted to also socialize with people. So you have to look for those opportunities, because unless you're already in that world or in that market, they're not going to come to you. You have to go find it. So that would be my one thing. If you are a person who's interested in that area, the first place I would start would be to find a deaf social group and then network from there.
Yeah, that's interesting, because usually when I think of people that learn sign language, it's someone in their family is deaf, but that wasn't the case for you, right?
No, it was not. So when we moved here to Jacksonville, when I was a small girl, I lived here for about 18 months. My dad was a Army recruiter, and the church where we attended had a deaf couple there, a deaf family there, and that's how I actually started learning sign language. I was 10 years old, and they just took me under their wing and like, can Renee come with us? I said yes. So I went with them everywhere, and then I ended up interpreting for their doctor's appointments, at the grocery store. I became kind of like their little personal interpreter. But I had lots of opportunities. They took me to Wisconsin, to Michigan, to Orlando, Texas. I got to travel with this family, and it was a very unique experience, but that's what whet my appetite, and I thought, okay, this is what I want to do when I grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you like keep up your motivation, or how do you stay optimistic, would you say, in times where things are struggling or things are not quite working out for you as well as you would as well as you'd hoped?
Yeah, so I think right now I would say two things. It's my faith in God and the use of technology. So I have a strong faith in the Lord. I have a strong walk with God, and I don't say that as to brag, but it is because of my walk with God that I'm able to no trial or temptation or struggle lasts forever. I mean, there's copious amounts of examples in the Bible where everybody made it through somehow. So I have faith in God that whatever struggle may be in front of me or challenge, that He's going to help me through. Plus, with technology now, you can get online and keep up your skills. You can learn. There's free courses everywhere in America, that you can pursue to keep your mind busy until the Lord opens the next door for you to walk through.
Yeah.
So I think what's important is that if you look at every character in the Bible or even anybody in history, they always used the time that they waited to prepare for the next thing.
It reminds me of the verse in Jeremiah 39. It says, "Let not the wise man boast in his wisdom, the mighty man boast in his might, or the rich man boast in his riches, but let a man who boasts boast in this, that he knows and understands me, for I am the Lord your God." So I think if there's one thing we can brag about, it's not that we are bragging that we're better than people that don't know God. It's just that we're better off. What other subjects would you say is your strongest?
So I'm good at coaching. Coaching is something that I learned. I think for me, coaching was a natural acumen. I could here, let me help you. The Bible does say that there's a gift of helps, and a lot of people overlook that because we think, oh, it's the gift of this, the gift of that. The gift of helps is really powerful. I think a lot of people operate in that. And so I was just helping people become better versions of themselves. And then I got an opportunity to go to a coaching academy, and I took level 1, level 2, level 3, and ended up going to the state to get coached, more coaching training. And so then I found out that I really enjoy working with adult people. The little people were good. I loved the classroom experience, but I really had a passion for developing teachers. So I got into coaching and mentoring just with an opportunity that showed up when I was accompanying the principal at a principal's meeting. Like, I wasn't supposed to be there because I wasn't even on the list of people that were qualified. But she looked at me and she said, "Oh, that's going to be you," And so people would just profess things in my life. "That's going to be you." And then I went, and she sent me, and everything was great. And then I learned a ton of things. So coaching and mentoring, let me rephrase that. Coaching is different than mentoring, but I love both. So when we talk about coaching, you're really helping people just hone the craft that they're already in, versus mentoring where you're redirecting and shaping a particular practice. And sometimes they do overlap, but sometimes they're very different. So I feel like I'm really good at those pieces of, work.
That's big too, because just like we were talking about before we got on camera, some of the parents could use coaching as well, because obviously with tutors, a lot of our clients are homeschooler. So that helps, when you say you're a good coach or a good leader, you're kind of, some of that education is going to the parents.
Yeah, those conversations kind of organically happen when parents hear what's going on between you and the client, the child, and they ask questions. They feel comfortable, interrupting the session and say, well, what about X, Y, and Z? And that's an opportunity for us as tutors to enlighten the parents as well, because the home is really the first school, and the parent is really the first teacher. So you always want to honor that I may be getting paid to do a piece of work, but at the end of the day, the parent is always going to be the best teacher ever that a child could ever have. So, I always like to answer questions that parents have and lift their understanding so that they understand educating a child is approachable, but there is a right and wrong way to do it, and it's good to have someone in your corner that can kind of redirect you.
What do you think about the company and just how everything? I know we haven't been open for a long while. We've really only been open for about a month now. But as far as what you've seen so far, is there any improvements that you can see on our end that we need to make better?
So I think SmartPath tutors is a fantastic idea. I think parents need an option to have, I call them MKOs, a more knowledgeable other than themselves. Whether you are a parent who sends your child to public school, parochial school, private school, or homeschool, at the end of the day, when the homework comes home, well, you're the teacher that's next. And so sometimes having that other tutor just kind of relieves the pressure from the parent. So I think SmartPath offers that option to parents that are looking for another MKO, another more knowledgeable other that can really specialize in a content or subject area for their parent. So I think what we offer is good. I think that because we are on social media, websites and things like that, people have access to find us. I think that we have in-person and online options. I think that's good because everybody has a different way that they want their child to engage in learning. So, I mean, I think, those are probably the really strong positives. I think that maybe one of the ways that we could kind of iron out a wrinkle would be the time that we spend on the clock with either our online clients or our in-person clients, making sure that we have a method that feels easy to say, I was here on this day and this is how much time I spent, and to be compensated accordingly.
Yeah, just keeping up with hours better, and yeah, that part we'll figure out. What's your favorite cuisine, would you say?
Oh, I love tacos.
Not even Mexican, just tacos.
I love Mexican tacos. I love Mexican tacos.
Yeah.
Just
authentic.
The authentic Mexican tacos. The cilantro and the lime squeeze. Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's me all day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. Last question. Any words of advice for the younger generation and the people trying to come up in this world?
Are you talking about people who want to become a teacher, or?
Yeah, people that want to work in education. What would you say? Like, what's a good?
I would say education is never going to go away. Your aspiration or desire, your passion, your calling, whatever you want to name it or label it as, that part is never going to be replaced by artificial intelligence. So you should never worry about, am I going to ever have a job? You will. It just may not be always traditional the way that I started many, many years ago. And I would say, like, one of the things that I would find that was an anchor in my development as a teacher, I stayed in the research. I was just that person that bought the book and read it. I was that person that read the technical assistance paper for the program that my kids were using online during small group instruction. I was that person. And as a result of that, I became extremely knowledgeable, and I could articulate why a curriculum works, why it doesn't work for your kids, what are the downfalls of using a curriculum. So I would say, for one, you have to love people if you're going to be in education, and that includes little people and big people. You need to stay in the research, which means you need to keep reading upon your craft. So once you go to a workshop, a seminar, any kind of institute, and there's a person there that you like who presented, buy their book and then read it and then implement it.
Yeah, and I think 90% of our clients so far, they want in-person tutoring these days. I think the online phase of COVID has faded,
waned, yeah,
which
sure.
is something that we offer. Do you want to tell everyone your hours as of now? This is early November 2025.
Yeah, so right now I'm offering hours Tuesday through Saturday, and mostly in the daytime is what I'm offering those hours, because I want to be able to be available for my family in the evening.
Sure.
And so Taylor and I are now we have put something on the gauntlet of the discussion table about possibly hosting something, maybe evening, for people who are interested in learning sign language as an elective, as something fun to do. And we're going to explore that topic.
We could even do it here.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you, Taylor, for inviting me. I appreciate it.
SmartPath Tutors. What path are you on?